There's a quote that states life is 10 of what happens to you and 90 of how you react to it, which means that your reaction is drastically more important than the circumstance. And that's critical to know. It's critical to understand that no one in life has more power over your own situation than you. There's an old story that hits on this point exactly. There's a father and a daughter. And basically the daughter is complaining. She's complaining about how life and how difficult things are. She doesn't know how she's going to make it in whatever it is she's doing. I mean, the bottom line is she's tired of the day-to-day right, and her father gets this idea. He says, "Come with me into the kitchen," and he gets 3 pots of water, puts them on the stove, and turns the burners on. As soon as they start boiling, he drops a potato in the first one, an egg in the second one, and some coffee beans in the third one. And after some time goes by and they boil a little bit, he pulls them out. He puts the potato in a bowl. He puts the egg in a bowl. And he takes a ladle and he puts some of the coffee in a cup. And he says, "What do you see?" She says, "Well, I see a potato, I see eggs, and I see coffee." He says, "Yeah, but look closer. There's more there." And she goes and she touches the potato, and it's now soft. And he hands her the bowl with the boiled egg, and she takes the shell off and breaks it open. She sees that it's hard inside. Then finally, he asks her to take a sip of the coffee. And you know, she smells it. She takes a sip. His smile comes to her face. She says, "So what does this all mean? What are you trying to say?" He says, "Well, the potato, when I dropped it in the water, it was rigid. It was tough. It was uncompromising. But in the boiling water, it became soft and weak. Then you have the egg that was basically the opposite. This delicate layer protecting a liquid center, and the boiling water made it hard. And then there was the coffee that wasn't just changed by the situation. It created something new. It took the same adversity and used it as a lever to bring about something beautiful into existence." He then looks at his daughter and says, "Look, when things become challenging, when things become difficult, which one are you? What's your approach? See, maybe the question is not about how challenging the situation is, right? Maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Maybe it's how do you transform yourself, and by default the world around you. How do you take your strengths, your values, your loves, your joys, and your happiness, and let that lead you into something when life gets hard? And when it does, what do you become?" I always remind myself, we are not defined by life at peak state as much as I wish that were the case, right? We're not shaped by the days or the times we floated by. Because those times are great, they're enjoyable, but they're not what makes or breaks us. It's the times that challenge us and ask us to be what we have not yet become. That's the good stuff. And this is another one of those, simple but not easy type of things. Because on paper it makes sense, it's understood, but it's an outlook that manifests over time. It's slowly stacked piece by piece and brick by brick, realizing that every situation provides you with the tools to make something out of an apparent nothing. And then it waits, right? Because fate is in your hands, and I can certainly think of, times in my life. That's one of the reasons I love these stories. I can reflect where each one of those pots of boiling water was relevant. I could think of times when I too was headstrong like the metaphorical potato. I thought success would be easy. I thought projects would be simple to execute. I spent months doing things that just weren't good because I didn't ask, what does the world need? I asked myself, what do I want to give the world? And there has to be a marriage there, right? And it was a quick reminder that the world owes me nothing. I was humbled or softened. As the story goes, I've been the egg. I've been timid. I've been uncertain, thin-skinned, worrying about what people would say, or the content I was creating, worried about the perception, and how things would look if I had failed. And very quickly, I learned that when life is a game of comparison or one-upmanship, when you do things for reasons and people other than yourself can't win, you overcompensate. You do things for the wrong reasons and you lose yourself. You become hardened. And then there's the good stuff, right? Getting to the coffee, not bowing down to the circumstances, but shaping them. Not letting life dictate how the story goes or the fate of your character. And what's interesting is, I'm pretty sure that being that metaphorical egg in the potato, they lay the foundation to become the coffee, the life lessons, the falling down, the picking my ego up off the floor, learning to trust myself not to be led by the opinions and expectations of others. You essentially learn that you can take the world around you and change it, that it is malleable, it is flexible. You have that power. You have that ability. It's up to you to believe it. And that's critical because no one comes along and co-signs that understanding for you. It's an internal process. You start to learn that things aren't there to provide instruction. They're there to propel you. But can you see the unknown? Is the opportunity, the obstacle, is the way and the loss, is the armor that you pick up during the journey. And so you know all these words essentially come to one point, and that point is you have so much more control over your life than you think you do. As I said before, you are stronger than you think you are. You are more resilient than you can even imagine. And when life tests you, and again it will remember that the challenges are not happening to you, but for you. The world isn't taking away what you have. It's giving you what you need. So long as you're willing to adapt with it, to grow, expand out, because you not only have the ability to change yourself, but the world as well.